they told me they'll be sending me a prototype anime figure that has not been released yet. And then this figure was shipped to my doorstep where the postman threw it into my residence. Yes, they threw it like a basketball. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven from X Kurogane Studio. Today with a new kind of anime figure video. The kind that I had never thought I would have the opportunity to make. At least not so soon, because I'm still a small YouTuber. 12,000 subs, not 120k, not 1 million. But anyways, I guess that when you have passion and love for something, people can really see it. So a little bit about my own background. Before I even started this channel almost 4 years ago in late 2020, I was a very active anime figure photographer, and I regularly uploaded my own photography content in myfigurecollection.net, winning lots of medals over the years, over 100 of them, and 15 of them were POTMs, or Picture of the Month, gold medals. I had also won a photography contest like a couple of times. And then I stopped doing that because I burnt out, like many creative people would. So getting back to this figure right in front of me, this is a figure that is still unreleased. This figure is not coming out anytime soon until in the 4th quarter of the year, which is anywhere between October to December, and that is assuming that there are no delays, which happens a lot to many figure companies. So back in January, barely 2 months ago, this figure company from Japan, they are based in Japan, Figurama Collectors, they make licensed anime figures. They have reached out to me with this figure over here. This isn't our first collaboration, by the way. This is my second with them. Last year, I did an advertisement for them, but that was about it. So this year, I had additional responsibilities where they told me they'll be sending me a prototype anime figure that has not been released yet, and my job is to photograph them. They want better photographs, and I'm being commissioned to do the job. So this is the kind of opportunity that I suppose many people outside of Japan and China, where most of these figure companies are based in, very few people would get an opportunity like this. And I guess that my portfolio in MFC really helped. They actually checked out my photographs. So with today's video, I just want to share with everyone my experience with handling what is basically an unfinished rough prototype of an unreleased figure. And the experience is something so valuable. I learned so many new things. And I'm hoping to bring this experience into future collaborations with any figure companies. There were so many unexpected setbacks that really made things very hard. So first off, this figure over here is apparently that of a VTuber called Onigiri, which I know nothing about, unfortunately. And currently, she is going for around $200 on pre-order. And the height of this figure is around 22.5 centimeters all the way to the top of her head at 1:10 scale, 1:10. So you might be thinking $200 for 1:10 scale pop-up rate size is pretty pricey. Yes, it is kind of on the expensive side, but at the same time, you need to remember that resin is expensive. Like, you know, a bottle of this kind of stuff over here, this is Anycubic 3D printing resin. These are not cheap. A small bottle like this, this is a 500 gram bottle. A 1 kg bottle would cost you like $30 or higher than that, depending on the quality and the type of resin you're going for. I agreed to the request. I feel kind of confident, because I felt familiar. This is the kind of thing I have been doing all these years as a hobby. So I said yes. And then this figure was shipped to my doorstep where the postman threw it into my residence. Yes, they threw it like a basketball. Gave me a heart attack, almost. And fortunately, nothing was broken. And then my original plan was to film an unboxing video, just like how I do my figure haul videos almost every month, and share with you guys what the whole experience is like, from unboxing to assembling a prototype figure, which is not in a proper box, not in a proper packaging. It is something very different. However, I immediately experienced a number of new setbacks that I never thought I would experience, because once again, this is not a finished product where the parts are not fitting at all. So this figure, or resin figures in general, there are many multiple parts in the box where you need to assemble them, usually with magnets. There are 0 magnets over here because this is a prototype. and the parts either don't fit or they are way too loose. So during the assembly process, like 40 minutes in, 1 hour in, the figure is constantly self-destructing. It is constantly collapsing into multiple pieces, and sometimes it nearly fell on the floor. It was really bad for my heart. There's no way I could do any unboxing video at all with this. This could go on for hours. And then, yeah, that was day 1. I gave up. Nope, I'm not doing this. My mental state is... I'm not in a good mental state at the moment. I was freaked out. Came back the next day. I decided to choose not to have any distractions, no cameras recording me. I finished up the assembly, and there were still tons of problems to deal with. So I emailed their marketing department and requested for permission to glue the parts together. And they told me, if you feel like you could do a better job, then by all means go ahead. You see, with resin figures like this, if the parts are removable, usually there are always magnets inside unless it is a very small part and the fitting is very precise, right? Otherwise, there are usually magnets or the parts will be glued together. So I took matters into my own hands. I glued almost the entire figure together into one piece. Don't care anymore. And I had to increase the amount of glue I use because even too little glue does not work given how heavy this figure is. Like the back of this figure, the wings, they are so back heavy because, you know, yeah, this is like solid material over here. So the figure is standing on one single leg, but you have a pair of very heavy wings at the back. And that was the biggest challenge. Because I need to prevent the figure from self-destructing while photographing it in a very intricate diorama. And in the end, I just ended up spamming a lot of glue, and that still wasn't enough because if you are not careful, your glue will damage the paintwork on the figure. And to my horror, the paint appears to be just a single layer. Like literally one single layer. If you're not careful, then the paint will come off. And there were occasions where I just had to touch the figure and then the paint was coming off and you can see the white color resin underneath. There was no undercoat at all, no primer layer at all. As the figure leans backwards due to her weight, so what happens is that the wings over here will collide with this cleaver, and the cleaver will proceed to dislodge and break every single part behind here. So you have a very nice character over here, a small demon over here, pushing up this puppy over here onto the cleaver. This is a very nice detailed figure if done correctly, but because of the complexity behind this figure, and the figure is constantly leaning backwards and bumping into this thing, yeah, the parts keep falling off, it keeps... I had to use sticky blue tacks to stabilize the figure at the back near the stool and also at the base at the cleaver region, so that the figure does not keep leaning back ever so slightly and knocking things over. And I did complain about this to their marketing department, by the way. I emailed to them about it. But they told me that they will consider adding like additional support rods for the figure from behind so that she would be less likely to lean. Given that this is a prototype, a very rough prototype, and I don't think they use any primer in the paintwork, I opted not to show you guys very close-up video footages using my macro lenses because that wouldn't be fair to the company, where you guys can see all of the flaws on the paintwork of the figure where she is not supposed to look like that. The figure will look much better in the final results. But this is where things feel a little bit weird to me because you are supposed to come up with a really good photograph or multiple really good photographs to show to potential customers so that you can convince them to pre-order your figure, right? But if you get someone to photograph a prototype that is not even close to being finished and there are multiple flaws on the figure, how are you going to convince people to pre-order your figure? So this is a weird decision to me. It feels like it is way too early to photograph this figure. This figure is not even close to being ready yet, but I did the very best I could as the photographer over here. So I had to do green screen photography, yeah, plain green screen, so that they can swap out the background to some other color whenever they want. And also a diorama that I'm famous for. So I'm showing you guys over here the diorama shot I did. And yes, basically I came up with a kitchen. Because, you know, she is obviously wearing a maid apron outfit, so she should be in a kitchen. Even the official product pictures, the current one, the older ones, they are using a kitchen wallpaper. But wallpaper, they never really look that good in photographs. You need the real thing. So this is 1x10 scale, and that is where the challenge is, because either I 3D print my own props at exactly 1x10 scale, or I need to adapt my existing props or to purchase new materials to build them. The green screen photographs are actually a lot harder compared to dioramas, at least in my opinion, because the green cloth is so reflective, it is bouncing green light back onto the figure, and this figure has silver metallic parts and they look terrible with a green color cast over there. So my first batch of photographs were unusable. I went out and looked for a new material. To purchase a new material that is green color, I went for a paper-like material so that it is less reflective, and I had to raise the figure high up. So it was something really risky, because if I knock her over, that is game over. The figure would break into multiple pieces. After raising the figure up and putting a black cloth in front, and yeah, finally there are no reflections and the green screen photographs look great. Moving on to the dioramas. This is also a bit challenging because this is 1x10 scale. You can't find any 1x10 scale dioramas out there if you choose to buy one directly from a prop maker, right? So either you 3D print it yourself, or you build it yourself, or you have to improvise. So the problem with this figure being 1x10 scale is that I could have used a 1x12 scale Figma scale furniture, which is not too far off actually. If I hold this furniture higher up, like at her foot level over here, then you can see the size is almost right, even though this is 1x12 scale. But I cannot remove the base on this figure, the whole thing would collapse. I had to use the base. If I were to put this furniture down on the floor, then the figure looks like a giant next to this furniture. So 1x12 scale was not usable at all. And then in the end, I decided to improvise by using 1x6 scale all the way. Yes, I had to customize this prop on my own. The base is actually a Barbie, a dollhouse furniture that is pink color. I made some modifications to the design, and then I had to repaint everything on my own. I do have a prop workshop at the back of my studio. Yes, solely for the very purpose of making stuff to photograph anime figures in. And finally, it worked out. The photographs looked really nice. Am I even allowed to make this video in the first place, because I might set the wrong expectations given that this is an incomplete product? Well, no worries, they gave me the permission. They said, in fact, you can go ahead and do it as long as you emphasize that it is a prototype. So there we go. I am known for my high quality close-up looks on anime figures, but I can't be doing that on an incomplete product with flaws. Yeah, that wouldn't be fair. So I'm just sharing my experiences with you guys. This is something new to me, and I'm hoping for more stuff like this in the future whenever the opportunity arises. In fact, I have another figure company who will be sending me a new product next week. Yeah, next week or two, and I will make a video on it sometime in April. So yeah, more new stuff are coming my way directly from the figure companies who make them. That is nice. It is nice to get recognized by companies in general. So until then, if you found this video enjoyable or informative in some ways, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. And until then, I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.